Okay, check it out. Can you see the slide movements or no before I start with? Can you see the slide movement, students? Can you see the slide movement, students? Hello? Hello? Can you see the slide movements? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see the slide movements or no? I'm asking.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So today we'll take up one more concept in the related to C language again. Okay, so these concepts usually used normally when writing the C programming there. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so that is the storage class, right? Okay, so now what is the storage class talks about? And if you look at the storage class, maximum questions will be asked related to the storage class in the interviews. Students were unable to answer for these questions. Okay, so I request you all, okay, please go through the storage class as it's a part of your, C language there. Okay, not only C language. Okay, so I already mentioned, if you really interested to clear your C or what we call it as interviews. Okay, so whenever they are asking related to C questions, okay, so maximum times they'll ask at least one or two questions related to the storage class. Okay, so you should be able to answer for these things. Right, with respect to that, I'll try to cover this. Right, okay, so look at the storage class. Okay, what is this storage class is talking about? Okay, you already know the storage class is related to variable. You already know the variable. So variable which is able to hold some of the values. What kind of a value it is able to hold? So it is left to you people because the data type is describing what kind of a data the variable is going to hold. Okay, it's only the data type. Okay, so don't think it is having only that facility there. Okay, because whenever we talk about the variable, so it is having two properties, right? That's what I wanted to give an exposure for that. So what is that? One is the data type, another one is the storage class. So you may ask, what is the storage class? We know the data type. Okay, so we know the data type of the variable, but what is the storage class? Okay, so that's what I am trying to convey here. The storage class that determines how long the particular variable is going to, or the data is going to stay inside that particular variable. The life, okay, the lifespan, okay, the lifespan of a particular data dumped inside a particular variable. Okay, I have saved something like v1 is equal to something like 10 there. Okay, I know this is, if I write here int, okay, v1 is equal to 10 here. So I say that v1 is of the type integer and it is holding an integer data this. But we are unable to say that how much one variable is capable of. Okay, what is the lifespan of this particular variable? That is explained with the help of what we call it as the storage class. Okay, so how much long the particular data is going to be stored or retained inside the memory. So that can be explained with the help of the storage class. So am I clear with the storage class, students? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Okay. So C supports, there are 4 types of storage classes. One is automatic or the local, second one is register, third one is static, fourth one is external and are the global. I'll repeat. Okay. The 4 storage classes are supported by C language. The first one is automatic or the local, second one is register, third one is static, fourth one is external or the global. right? So I'll try to go in little depth of this, right? So I'm not going in, too much depth of that, but at least I'll give uh, the meaning of all these things with certain example or one or two examples there. So let's look into the first storage class, automatic variable or a local variable. So what is the meaning of this? Okay, to declare this, okay, automatic variable. So what is the thing that we are going to use? So it's an auto, a keyword that is used along with the data type. So you already know the primitive data types. Okay, I've studied the primitive data types. Along with the primitive data type, if you use one more, okay, the keyword called as auto, this tells us that this is whatever variable that I have declared, x and y. These are all are of the type double, which are having a storage class as auto there. Okay, so if I don't write, is it okay? No issue. Okay, because this automatic variable is talking about the local variable or the automatic variable there. If even though if you don't write this, okay, this is considered to be a local variable there. So what is this talking about? Why should I write that? That is the biggest question in front of us. Why should I declare that? Okay, we are happy with this declaring double, int, float, something like that. Then why should I write this auto? Okay, you may ask. If you ask like that, so this tells me the lifespan of the particular variable that I have declared here. Okay, then what is the lifespan if I declare it as auto, or simply if I don't write this also? If I write it as if I simply write double followed by x and y there, then what is the lifespan of this x and y? Contents. Okay. So please remember the lifespan of this, the contents of this x and y are restricted to the particular block where these things are defined here. Okay, if I write here, if I take something like, if let me write one simple stuff, okay, I'll be writing while, I'll write while I is less than or equal to, okay, so let me write 10. Okay, so inside this I'll declare one more variable int, maybe a is equal to 10. Okay, then I'll be writing something like print, something like that, and I'm closing this. I'll write some more statements. So if you look at this, so int, right? So this int a, if you look at this, once I come out of this particular while loop, so there is no existence of this a. Search for this, if you try to print value of a outside this loop, it will ask undefined symbol. It will say that it is an undefined variable there. Okay, the lifespan of this particular a is within this particular loop. Okay, it's going to die, it's going to expire, it's going to die. This particular variable is going to die. How do I come to know about this? So this is what we are mentioning inside the automatic variable. So if you don't mention also, if you don't mention also using this auto, so this tells that the lifespan of this particular variable is within limited to this particular open and a close brace of this. Within the block, okay, the existence of that is within the block. If you come out of that, there is no existence for this particular a. I hope I am making it clear. Its value will be destroyed. There is no variable called as a that is found before the while statement also, after the while statement also. Is it clear, students? And it is true for all the local variables that you people have studied till today. Whatever variable, we have defined so many variables, okay, where we have not used any auto. But I said, even though if you don't use auto also, those are acting as a local, okay, local variables. Local variables are nothing but the automatic variable itself. Okay, both have the same meaning. The existence of those particular variables are limited to that particular opening and a closing brace there. Where exactly those variables are defined, okay, so the life of that particular variable will be restricted to that opening and a closing brace of that particular variable. Is it okay, students? This is very important concept that I am dealing with. You have any doubts, you people can ask me. I'll take one example for that also, there is no issue. But You need to know these things. Yes. Any doubt, students? Give the response. I always mention, without your response, okay, class is of no use. Please give the response. Hello?
No doubts,
Hello?
ma'am.
Okay. So if you look at the initialization of these local variables or the atomic variables, right? Okay, so if you don't initialize, okay, you will be initializing something like int a is equal to 10. If I don't initialize, okay, so if I declare it as int, maybe b there, if I try to print the contents of this b there, so what it is going to print? It's going to print a garbage value, junk value. Okay, but if you initialize this to some value there, right, so then it is going to print the value of b as 10. Okay, so that's why we are mentioning that the default value, okay, there is no default value that is set for any of the automatic or the local variables there. Okay, so if you don't, I mean, if you want to see the contents of that before initializing that particular variable that you have defined under the local or the automatic variable there, so it's a junk value, it's a garbage value, right? But if you initialize it during the declaration there or after the declaration there, so it's going to hold whatever value you people have initialized for that particular variable. So in this case, if I initialize a is equal to 10, so a is going to hold 10. If I don't initialize this, so a is going to hold some garbage value, 9, 8 or something, any value you can take. Clear? Okay, so let's move to the example of this. So I've taken simple example for this. Okay, so automatic variable, it is up to you people. So you may write auto the keyword there before this, or you may not use, it is left to you people. So look at this. So this is simple example that I'm quoting here. Int main, int x is equal to 9, y is equal to 8, z is equal to 5, t. Okay. So these three values are initialized with these values. Okay, if you look at this x and if you look at this y and if you look at this z, okay, they are initialized with 9, 8 and z5. What about t? What about t? What is the t value? Any one of you students? What is the value of t? Hello? Hello? What is the value of t? I need your response, students. Okay, this is very important topic as a point of your, I mean, I'm saying you the placement. Any one of you, please, what is the value of t? Any one of you, please speak with me, students. Hello? 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 There are many students, okay, they don't know the C language. And I'm putting my maximum to make you people to understand this subject, okay, so that you people can take something from me. But you people are there, okay, so that's what we usually call. Okay, if God gives, I mean, users are not able to take that, right? So if user is really interested to take something, but that time God is not in a mood to give you all. So it's left to you people. Okay, there is no, uh, okay, nothing can be said to you people. It's left to you. Right, so now if you ask me to print this, if I print this, what it is going to print? So for x it is printing 9, for y it is printing 8, for z it is printing 5, and I know t is not at all initialized, it's going to hold a garbage value. Okay, look at the output. So just look at the output. X is 9, y is 8, z is 5, but if you look at this t, okay, t is a garbage value. Okay, so whatever value, okay, we really don't know. It's a garbage value, it's a junk value. Whatever is there in the memory at that instant of a time, that will be displayed by the compiler on the screen. Now go ahead with this. If x is equal to 9, okay, so in this case it is true because it is initialized with 9 there. If it is true, I am entering into this if statement. Now look at this, I am initializing, okay, z. Now I have a z variable 25, then a variable 55. Okay, so now look at this. I have two variables, a and z here. All right, so z is 25, a is 55. Now I'll try to print the same thing now. Okay, what I am printing? I am printing x, I am printing y, I am printing z, and I am trying to print a also. So if you look at this, okay, so this z is totally different from this z. So this z, whatever z it is here, so this z is defined within this particular block. Okay, so if you tell it to print this z value, it is printing the z value of this that is defined within this block, not the thing that is found outside the block there. It is not printing 5 there, it's going to print what we call it as 25. I hope I'm making it clear. This is very important. The life of this particular, okay, whatever variable I'm defining here. So I've defined z here, z is equal to 25, a is equal to 55. Okay, what it is going to print? It is overriding, right? So it is overriding z. So it's a different variable. So this is a different variable compared to this particular variable here, whatever we have defined here. So this is having a lifespan of only this opening and a closing parenthesis. It is not writing, it is not coming here and it is writing 25 here. So this is not true. Okay, please don't take like that. So it is going outside and it is taking, okay, it is writing over this, okay, 5 and it is printing and making it as 25. No. You have a separate variable defined within this particular block, that is z here. Within that z, you have 25 here. Okay, and it is this z. Okay, whatever I am taking, it is taking it from here, not from here. Okay, this you have to remember. This is what is the meaning of the automatic error local variables. What it is going to print now? It's going to print 9. Okay, it is taking it from the outside itself because I have only that value that is defined for this x. Okay, y is 8 here and z is this value, not this value. Okay, so z is, it is printing it as 25 and finally a is 55. Okay, so now I am coming out of this particular if statement. After that, I am again trying to print the, okay, x, y, z values. And if you print a here, it will say it is undefined symbol there. But if you print x, y, z there, x is again printing it as 9, y it is printing it as 8 there, z now it is printing it as 5, not as 25. Okay, so because the lifespan of this particular z that is defined within this particular opening and the closing parenthesis is only limited to this. Once you come out of this particular opening and the closing parenthesis, please remember, okay, this z is died. It is expired. Is it okay? Hello, students. Is this okay? Right, this is very important concept that I am talking about. So look at the things that I have already shown, I have given you. So these are printed with the help of this. So these are printed with the help of this, and these are printed with the help of this. Okay, so this z is having a lifespan of only this brace. If you come out of this particular opening and a closing parenthesis, there is no z that is defined. Or this 25 that is defined for this z is not existing. Okay, it is died once we come out of that particular opening and a closing parenthesis. That's what I have mentioned here. Okay, these program elements are created and destroyed within each block. So this is a block that is defined for this. Okay, so the existence of these two variables is limited to or confined to only this particular opening and a closing brace. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's move to the next. register variables. Okay, the showing of this register variable is very hard for any of the, okay, I mean any of the members here, right? Because this register is usually found on the microprocessor. Okay, so you have certain storage device on the microprocessor itself. You already know there are a variety of microprocessors. You have i5 machine, i7 machine, okay. So for every microprocessor, there is some space to store the data. Okay, without storing the data, it is unable to do any of the operations on that particular data. So the space that is found on the microprocessor to store your data is usually termed as the registers. Okay, the space which is helping us to store the data on the microprocessor, okay, is called as registers. They have, our people will be studying once you go ahead with the what we call it as the embedded systems or the microprocessor in the fourth semester. You'll have, okay, I'll come to know how many registers are found on the microprocessors or on the embedded systems. How can we play with those things? You'll be studying about all those things. Just a glimpse of that I'm talking about. This registers, okay, register variable or in a C language. Then how do I declare this? How you people have, okay, so here if you write this as, okay, so now register int, okay, something like any variable name. How you people have written the auto there. So similar to that, so this is what we call it as the keyword that helps us define the register. Okay, so now this is, it has very high speed memory because it is inside the microprocessor, very high speed. So if dumping the data inside this particular, this particular memory there, okay, so now whatever actions it is going to perform on that particular data is very faster compared to picking a data from the primary memory there. Okay, so it's very high speed, okay, so storage, right? Because it is found on the microprocessor itself. Okay, so but whenever we talk about these register variables, okay, so now these register variables are, okay, so now are used in place of the automatic variable. These cannot be used as a part of the global variables or the external variables or the static variables. Please remember this. Okay, so now these register variables, okay, can only be used as automatic variables. Okay, so what is the meaning of automatic variable? So the lifespan of this particular registers will be restricted to the opening and the closing parenthesis there. So once I come out of that opening and the closing parenthesis, there is no life that is found for the, or there is no existence that is found for the register variables. Okay? Is it okay, students? The lifespan of this is very much similar to that of a variable or the automatic variable. So what is lifespan? So within the closing and the opening parenthesis there. Okay, if I declare here register, okay, int some variable name here. So the life of this particular variable is within this, or confined within this particular opening and closing parenthesis. Is it okay? Say something. Understood? Okay. So now look at this. These registers are not stored in the memory because I already mentioned it's the part of the microprocessor, right? So you have a specific name for those particular registers, right? So these are not part of the primary memory. Okay, these are not stored in the memory. Okay, that's why they don't have any memory addresses. That's why these register variables cannot be used as a pointers. Maximum times in the interview, people will ask, okay, so now I'll give one register variable, now write the pointer for that. Students will try to write the answer for that. They'll just write star for it. Okay, that is not the right way of writing the pointers, because point registers are not the memories. These are part of the, okay, it is a storage device, but these are part of the microprocessor there. So these don't have any particular memory locations. When they are not memory location, they don't have the addresses. When they don't have addresses, I cannot have the pointers for that, because the pointer concept begins with the addresses itself. Okay, so please remember, no pointer can hold the address of the register variable. Student make these kind of mistakes. Please don't do that. Clear? Clear, students? If I ask you people by mistake also, write a pointer for that. Please tell me, okay, it's a register variable, madam, so we cannot write a pointer for that. You should have that much hold. Okay. And if you look at the default value, there is no default value that is existing for the register variable. Okay, then what is a default value? It's a garbage value again. Okay, it's a junk value. Until if you don't initialize it, a junk value will be found inside the register variable as the default value there. Okay, very much similar to that of the automatic variable. So automatic variable also the same thing. If you don't initialize the automatic variable there, okay, junk value will be there. So junk value means whatever value is stored before, maybe by some other programmer there. Okay, so or maybe some kind of operation that will be shown to you people if you try to display the contents of that. Is it okay? Is it okay, students? You have any doubts, please don't hesitate to ask the questions. Okay, so now we'll take up one simple example. Okay, so now I already mentioned these registers values are, register variables are very much similar to that of the, what we call it as the automatic variable. How do you play with the automatic variable? In the similar fashion, you people can play with this register variables. Right? Okay, let's look into the example. What is the difference? There we used auto, or we have not used any auto keyword for the local variables there. Okay, here we are using the register variable. Okay, this is, sorry, register keyword here. So register followed by the data type. This is a keyword that helps us to talk about the kind of the storage class. Okay, so Z is able to store an integer, and the storage class of this Z is register. Where it is exactly dumped, it is dumped on the microprocessor itself. Okay, so if you ask me to enter, okay, two numbers there, I am entering two numbers there. Okay, this is normal, this is local variable. Local variable there, right? Okay, then if you read those values, then if you add those two contents, then if you print here, so how you people are playing with the local variables, in the similar fashion you people can play with this register variable also. So percentage D, you are printing Z here, it's going to print the summation of these two. But this Z, okay, cannot be used as a pointer because it does not have any memory location. Okay, memory address is not found because it's not a memory location. It's a part of the microprocessor there. From microprocessor only it is trying to print that particular value there on the screen. Is it okay? Is it okay, students? You have any doubts, you people can ask me before I go ahead with the other stuffs. Any queries? Hello? Okay, so I'll assume that you people have understood. So I'll proceed with the external variable. Okay, so now external variables. What are these external variables? So these external variables are also called as a global variable, and this global variable concept is very good if you, if you understand this properly. It's very bad if you don't understand it properly. I'll repeat my statement. If you understand this external variable or a global variable properly, it is going to help you to a greater extent. If you don't understand this properly, okay, the whole programming concept is going to die. And maximum students who have understood this, they'll try to write their C programs for the data structures using a global variable. I'll repeat my statement. The students who have understood this external concept, variable concept or the global variable concept, they are able to write the data structure programs very easily. Okay, they know, they don't, okay, sometimes they don't use the, what we call it as pointers. They are trying to replace those pointers with the help of these global variables. Right? Okay, so with this base, let's move to the next bit now. What is the global variable? The lifespan, because the storage kind of stuff, if you look at this, the lifespan we people are talking, the lifespan of this is not restricted to where exactly it is defined, because we are not defining it within a opening and a closing parenthesis here. Then where we people are defining this? This is defined because once if you go and okay, so study the structure of a C language, I mentioned something like the declaration of a global variable there. If you have remember that, okay, you have something called as the declaration of a global variables. Okay, so maybe before or after the prototype functions or a functions prototype there or a declaration of a functions there. So soon after the functions declarations are, so soon after your include and the hash defined there, you have something called as the declaration of the variables. That is global variables. Do you remember, students? If you look at the structure that I am talking about, first one is hash include, then hash define. Soon after that, you have the maybe the function declaration, then are the prototype there, followed by variable, that is global variable declaration. Then you will go ahead with the main and all those things, user defined functions. So this is how exactly the structure of C language varies or moves. Okay. So that's why when we start with the structure of C language, we just say that, so that this function declaration and the global variable declaration will be dealing once we talk about the storage classes and the user defined functions there. Is it okay, students? Say something. Okay, this I can left to you people. I don't force you all. All right. Okay, so now what is the initialization or the, what is the default value of this particular external variable? So even though I don't initialize any value for this particular global variable, okay, by default, the global variables are always treated as 0. Okay, if you check the global variable contents, if you try to display the contents of that, it always, shows it as 0. By default, the global variable values are defined with the zeros. I'm not initializing it. Automatically, it is done by the compiler. How it is come to know that, whether it is a local or the global variable? Because by just a declaration, the compiler will understand that it's a global variable and it's a local variable. If it is a local variable, junk value, it's not initializing it to 0. If it's a global variable, then it is going to initialize it to a 0. Okay, so this is what we people are talking about. Okay, so lifespan of this external or the global variable is till, okay, it is all these variables are accessible to all the functions, okay, including main. Okay, so main function can also, take or make use of the variables which are defined as the global variables. Functions can also make use of the variables which are defined as the external, the global variables there. Okay, so those, whichever, how many user defined functions you are defined there, all functions including, main function are capable of using the variables which are declared as the global variables. Okay, how they will come to know it's a global variable? A global variable, because I have already mentioned these are declared before the main function. Okay, there is no boundary for that. I'm not saying it is defined within the opening and a closing parenthesis. No, it is not defined within the opening and a closing parenthesis there. Okay, what exactly the difference between this global and the, okay, external variable? Okay, so some differences, little differences there. Okay, so the meaning of that is, if I look into this, I have declared some variable as something like int A, something like B. Okay, after this I have written something like main, and I have written some other, the user defined function here. And look at this. This is stored inside the file 1. I have another file called as f2 here. So I'm interested to access these values inside this particular function. Inside this particular file. This is file 1. Okay, this whole the data is, code is found inside the function f1.c. This is maybe f2.c here. f2.c is interested to access this field. Okay, if you simply use these variables, because these are declared as a global variables, right? So now if you are start showing an error, this is undefined symbol, then how do I define that? Okay, please remember, so these variables are the meaning of that is, so this extern is again a keyword which helps that, so these variables are the variables that are defined as a global in some other files. So we are interested to access the content clear. Okay, so this is the concept that usually we use inside the web pages there. Okay, so because I wanted to pass some data from this web page to next web page. Then how do I do that? Okay, so this is how it is helping me to do that. If you use something like the extern concept there, so that extern is helping me to read the contents of the previous slide or previous web page there. If you don't use the extern there, it will assume that maybe a new variable, so it will say that this variable is not found inside me, try to define it, right? So in that case, this is the extern that helps me to do that. So extern is a keyword that helps me to, okay, so helps me to get the data from the other file where the variables are declared as the global variables. Okay, the variable specified is a global variable in the another file there. I hope I am making it clear. Okay, so I will not be going in depth of these extents, but please remember, I'll talk about only the global people will be using in your future, right? Maybe in the fourth semester, maybe in the fifth semester, when you people are working on the web pages, or maybe in the Python language or some other languages, right? So let's go ahead with the example now. So I said I'll be talking about the global variable now. So variable, okay, the hash define. Okay, maybe after include or a hash define. I don't have any hash define here, so that's why I'm writing this. Okay, the global variable over here, int z. Okay, so I've created a variable called as global variable. So this is, and I know that it is initialized to 0 because it is not done by me, it is done automatically by the compiler. Compiler knows that this is defined soon after the include there, right? Hash include there. So that's why it's a global variable and it must be initialized with a 0 there. Next. So we have something called as the function that is defined here. So instead of defining a prototype, we have directly written the definition of the function here. That is also possible in case of C language, right? Okay, so what this wide display is talking about, display is not returning anything and it is not any parameters or the arguments from the what we call it as the main function here, or the main function here. What it is going to do, it is going to display the sum equal to z here. So let's look into this because I cannot directly this. Okay, so every program in C language always starts with a main. So if you start with this main, first it will go ahead with the auto. If you don't write this also doesn't matter because the life of this A and B is within this parenthesis. It's a local variable. These are the local variable. Okay, the life of this is within this particular parenthesis. Okay, now I am asking you people to enter the values of A and B. So to add those numbers, so we are entering that. Then we are going to write this Z. This Z is not at all defined here. Okay, this is not at all declared here. Can you see any Z inside this auto? Is there any Z variable that is declared here?
No, ma'am.
No. Still I am able to access this. How it is possible? I am able to access this Z and it is not throwing any error to me also. How it is possible for me to do that? Where is the Z that is defined? Where is Z that is defined here? Where I have declared?
Global variable section.
Correct, no? It's a global variable. Global variable meaning is that, so this is a variable, the lifespan of this is till you complete your program, it's, okay, having its life there. Until you complete your program, okay, its life is it's existing there. But if you look at these things, okay, once I come out of this particular, okay, closing parenthesis, there is no life that is left out here. But if you go ahead with this, okay, so if you look at this here, so if I ask you, if you try to print A and B here, it will say it is undefined variables A and B inside this particular function. Okay, because its value, these values are within this available within this parenthesis. Outside this particular particular opening and a closing parenthesis, there is no existence for this. They are going to die, right? But this is not true with the global variables. Okay, so these global variables have the life. How much? Till you complete your program. The meaning of that is, so these global variables can be accessed by any of the functions. This can access this this particular Z. These, okay, this particular function can also, okay, use this particular Z there. So if I write one more function, this function can also make use of this Z. If I write one more function here, this function can also access this Z. So Z is available to all the functions, including main. Okay, it's globally available. That particular variable is globally available to all the functions. You have defined 10 functions along with main there. For 10 functions along with main, all can access the global variables. Is it clear, students? This is very important thing that I am talking with you all. Is it okay, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So if I ask you one simple question, I have written auto int a comma b comma. If I write z here, if I write z here, okay. I hope I am making it clear to you all. If I write z here and if I read a is equal to maybe 10, b is equal to 5. What is the value of z here?
15.
15, correct, no? So it is storing z inside z 15. Okay, so then I am calling this function display. So I'll go to this function and it is going to display the sum. Okay, printf sum is equal to z. So what is your expectation for this printf statement? Sum is equal to what it is going to print?
15.
Just think and give the answer. Is it going to print 15?
I only.
Pardon?
5.
5? Is it 5 it is going to print? What is the z value it is going to print? Any one of you?
0.
Very good, very good. What's your name? What's your
Sahana.
name? Sahana. Very good, Sahana. Okay, once you come back to college, no, you'll come and you collect chocolate from me. Okay, I'll give you chocolate. Okay, how it is 0?
Because a global
Very
variable.
good, right? It's a global variable because I'm not passing any z here. Did I pass this z here? Am I passing any z here?
No, ma'am.
No,
No,
whatever
ma'am.
Z I have taken here, it's a local variable. The lifespan of this Z is only restricted to this. Is it going to come outside of this particular stuff here? Is this Z is going to come outside of
No.
this? No. Okay, it's going to die here only. Is it okay? If I print here, okay, if I printf percentage d, if I write Z here, what it is going to print? Soon after this z is equal to a plus b, if I use printf statement, print percentage d, okay, and comma z here, what it is going to print here?
15.
Very good. It is going to print 15 because it is still available. It is within the loop. It is available. That z value is available. But if I come out of this, I am going into another brace here. So there is no existence for this z here. That's why it's going to die. And this, whatever z is here, this is because of this particular variable. This is global variable and it can be accessed and it is not throwing any error there. Okay, because it is globally declared and I have all rights to use this particular variable here. So what is the value of z? Z is initialized to 0 automatically by the compiler. You already know it's a global variable and it's going to print it as 0 here. Is it okay, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So now let's look into this now. Okay. Now I have not declared anything. There is no z found here. So I have taken only two variables a and b. Now I am going to read the value for z, a as something like 15, b as 5. Okay. What is the value of z now?
20.
20.
20. Right. Now I am going to call this display function. I am coming to this. Now it is going to print the value of z. Sum is equal to z. What is the value of z?
0.
Think and say. What is the value of z now?
20.
20. How did you say this? How did you say this is 20? Yes. Is it Omkar? Who said the answer? Or somebody else? Who said 20? Hello? Hello? Please interact with me. Is it 20 or no? First tell me. Hello? Hello? Please interact with me. Am I audible or no? Hello? Are you able to listen? I mean, are you able to hear me, students? Hello? Hello, speak with me, students, please. Is it 20 or no? If it is 20, then how? Simplest question I'm asking. I'm not asking beyond your things. Whatever I have explained, I'm asking the same thing there. Yes, please. Make it fast. I want to cover one more bit. Yes. Who said the answer? Is it Omkar? Who said the answer? Is it 7? Sushant? Who said? Who said the answer? Is it Prajwal or Sushant?
Yes, ma'am.
Who said the answer? Is it Sushant?
Yes, ma'am.
You said the answer, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. How do you just justify? How did you say that as 20? I'm not asking much. Okay. So you will also get one chocolate if you justify how you get this as 20. I'm having 2 chocolates with me right now. If you want, I'll throw it through the okay system also online.
Z is a globally declared, ma'am.
Very good. Okay, globally declared variable. Here also I am using the same variable which is declared globally because I don't have any variable declared within this particular parenthesis, right? There is no z that is found as a part of this main there, and there is no z that is found inside this particular function also. It's only this z which is declared globally, right? So is accessed by all these things. So now this is modifying that value because initially it was initialized to 0 by the compiler there. Now it is modified by this particular main function. After modifying that, we are calling this function and we have all rights to, or this function has got all rights to access this z. Whatever z value, new value of z is there, right? So that z value will be accessed by this and it is, showing it on the screen there. Okay, if some other function you are written there, if you modify that, again z is equal to something like 30 there, and again if you print there, okay, so soon after this if you write this name function, maybe d1 there, okay, so wide d1 there, soon after this, okay, let me write it as d1. Then what is the value of this? You have used the printf statement and print your z there. What is the z value it is going to print? This d1 is going to print now. What d1 is going, this particular function is going to print now, z value. Yes. Hello students, answer. You people are, okay, learning with very, okay, good intention, right? So that's very great. I'm just asking simple question. Okay, now I'm using one more function. That function is d1 here. So same similar kind of function I've written wide. Okay, so d1 function I'm not passing any parameter. I'm just making z is equal to 30 here, and I'm printing the same thing. Print f percentage, okay, percentage d z. Okay, so what z value it is going to print? This particular function. Because this is first it was printed 20. Now again this particular function is called. After printing it is coming back here, and then it is calling d1 function here. It is coming here. So it has to print the z value. What is z value it is going to print?
30.
Very good. Correct now? Is it okay? So anybody can access this global variables. Anybody can do the modifications of that particular global variable. Okay, this is the only drawback of that. So whenever you do the manipulations on the global variable, you have to be very careful because anybody can access that. How if you have written 10 functions, if all 10 functions are accessing your global variable there, okay, so what is the manipulation, data manipulation you wanted to go ahead with that particular global variable, you have to just think before you do the manipulation on it. Okay, that care you have to take. If you understood this, you are through the global variables. Whenever you are playing with global variables, you have to be little careful, that's all. Otherwise, so this global variable supports you a lot while writing the program. Is it okay, students? Is it okay? This is very, very good, variable, global variable. Anybody can access.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay? Right? So do you have any, difficulty in this? You people can ask. Any doubts regarding this? Please, okay, again and again I am mentioning, maximum students will write their data structure programming using the global variables, and I am not against that also. If you have the thorough knowledge of this, if you know, okay, because this is a global variable which can be accessed by all the functions as well as including the main function there. So when do I manipulate that? Okay, so now is it harming the, okay, values in the other functions or what? If you understood that, then this is going to give you a perfect solution for your problem there. But if you simply manipulate the global variables without knowing the what are the things that is happening in the other functions there, then it's going to collapse the whole programming concept. You have to be very careful there. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, very good. Right? Okay. So this is a okay. So now I'll take one more example. So I'll not be taking the static variable today. Tomorrow I'll be discussing about that. But I would like to take this, one simple example on this that helps you to understand this external or the global variable very nicely. So look at this. So swap function. Okay, this is a prototype. Swap means I have A here, I have B here. If I am having 10 here, this is 20 here. Now this is before swap, and after swap, if you check the contents of A, this is 20 and this is B is 10 here. This is what my expectation. Right? Okay, then how this can be done? Because we people have already done this program, okay, without using a function, but okay, without using the global variables there. Right, so that is call by value we have used. Then we came to know that it is not giving us the proper result there. That's why we went for we call it as the call by address or a call by reference. And we know that call by reference or the call by address gave us very good result for the swapping of a two numbers there. So if I'm not happy to use the call by address, the call by reference there, then we people can think of going out with the global variables there. How it can be done? Let's look at the same thing now. Articles here. Now these variables are global variables. Global means yes. Global means yes. Tell me, Sushant. What do you mean by global? Sahana, please tell me. Global
The
means?
variables, those have the access over any
Pardon?
about the function.
Very good. Okay, so anybody can access. To move the end. Okay, so a program always with a main there, right? Okay, if you write this before also doesn't matter, but always the programming okay begins with the that is a execution of the program begins with the main program. That you have to remember. Okay, it is true for all the languages, not only for the C language. You take any programming, okay, so it always starts with, the execution starts with the main, right? Okay, so I'm asking you people to enter the value of A and B, right? Okay, so these are the global variables that are declared. So I'm taking something like 10 and 30 here. So I'm asking you, I'm reading those values. So now I'm going to print the same thing now. It's going to print A as 10 and B as 20, 30 here. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay? Before swap, it is printing A is equal to 10, B is equal to 30. Okay, so next I'm going to call a function called as swap. Okay, so now it's going to come over here. I'm not passing any parameter. I'm not expecting anything from it. I cannot expect also because swap means I have to send two data back to the call, which is not true, right? So C does not support that, right? C can send only one data, data. It cannot send more than one, right? If you want more than one data, then I have to either go for the global variables or the what pointer concept, right? Call by reference. Now I already mentioned the call by reference there. Now I'm making use of the what we call it a global variable here. Look into this. So now swap function, I've come over here. So what is the life of t there? Int t. What is the life of t? Any one of
2
you,
bytes.
please.
Within the loop, ma'am.
No, life.
2 bytes.
Pardon? No, what is the life of t? Somebody has said the answer. What is the life of
Within the loop, ma'am.
closing parenthesis? If I come out of this, there is no existence for local variable. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. So now what I'm doing, A contents will be dumped into T. What is A contents? So these are the A, which is the global variable. So whatever is globally found inside this particular variable, that is dumped inside this T now. Is it okay? Is it
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Next, A. A is dumped with contents of B. So this is B contents, this will be placed inside this A now. This is 30. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
B will bring
Yes,
to
ma'am.
A. Right. Next, T contents is nothing but these T contents, because still there is an existence. I have not come out of this particular closing parenthesis. This T contents will be sent back to or placed inside a B there. Correct? Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the contents of now?
10.
A is 30 and B is 10.
What is T? Here in T, this is 10. Is it okay? So this is 10. So A is 30, B is 10. Is it okay? Is this okay now?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt regarding A and B contents now?
No, ma'am.
Any? No. Okay. So now I'm closing this. Is there any existence for T if I come out of this, if I come back to the calling function here? Is there any
No, ma'am.
No,
existence
ma'am.
for T? No. What about A and B?
It's there.
There. Because?
They are global variables.
Very good. Those are global variables. Still there is an existence for A and B there. Okay. Now after swap I'll write. After swap. If I write A is equal to A. What is A contents now? These
30.
are accessed globally. You have already, yeah. So now it's going to print 30. What about B contents? B is equal to
10.
10.
10.
Are they swapped? So before
Yes, ma'am.
swapping, it was A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 30. After swap, it is A is equal to 30 and B is equal to 10. Are they swapped?
Yes, ma'am.
Are they
Yes.
swapped? Yes. Is it okay? This is how the global variables are helping you to do the manipulations on the data which are declared globally. Now the same program. Now we have written the program using the call by reference there. Okay, there also we are able to do this manipulation. There we people are playing with addresses. Now here we are playing with only the data there, are the variables there. We are not playing with the addresses. But if you simply try to write that particular program without using the call by reference or the global variable, it never gives you the answer. If you write the same program, if you don't declare this here, if you try to do this, it gives the same old data, whatever is present, whatever you have read for A and B, the same data will be, written after this swap also. Even though you call this function also, even though it is doing this manipulation also, that will not be written back to the calling function here. Is it okay? That I have already shown it to you people in the swapping of the content, that is call by value. Clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay. So now, you have any doubts, you people can ask me. Please feel free to ask the questions.